Welcome to today's webinar. Thank you all for taking the time to participate. My name is Pete Hernandez, and I'm a Principal Security Consultant for Atmos Professional Security Services practice. Today's agenda covers the following topics: the threat landscape, cloud security challenges, the capabilities of Sentinel, how Sentinel ingests data, details about the monitoring agent. Then we'll review Sentinel in a short demo. Microsoft Sentinel is a SIEM product. SIEM stands for Security Information and Event Management. SIEM collects and analyzes security data from various sources to identify potential threats and respond to security events in real time. It provides insight into an organization's security posture. SOAR is an acronym for Security Orchestration, Automation, and Response. This toolset automates and coordinates incident response processes to reduce response time to security incidents. SOAR uses machine learning-driven automation and orchestration to prioritize and respond to security incidents. Today's threat landscape poses several challenges. Data breaches are a matter of not if it happens, but when a security incident will occur. The global cost of cyber attacks is projected to reach $9.5 trillion, with the average cost of a data breach approximately $4.88 million. Cybersecurity firms are now tracking hundreds of millions of potential cyber threats on a daily basis. Threats went from 100 million threats to 750 million threats per day in just 6 or 7 months. Financial losses from cyber incidents have quadrupled since 2017. Damages from data loss ranges from small incidents in the $500,000 range to major incidents that can cost up to $2.5 billion. 92% of IT security professionals at U.S. healthcare organizations report at least one cyber attack last year. That's up 88% in 2023. Password attacks have risen from 1,200 events a second to 4,000 events per second. Malicious actors are averaging 72 minutes to gain access to private data. Email phishing has become a very popular approach to compromising a user's identity. Due to this fact, this approach is now considered a primary attack vector. Data breaches and insider threats rose 44% last year, with nearly half of cyber attacks targeting small and medium businesses, which typically lack adequate security measures. The average time to remediate a data breach is 85 days. In addition to the various cyber threats, a persistent and global talent shortage exists. For every 2 cybersecurity jobs filled, a third one remains open. Organizations have the daunting task of trying to protect their expanded digital estates and footprints. As the industry moves to cloud services and the mobile workforce continues to grow, digital estates have moved past a physical on-premises network. The frequency and sophistication of attacks are growing regardless of the industry or the size of the organization. Security operations are becoming increasingly difficult to maintain. Insider threats are becoming more prevalent. Due to these growing threats, our call to action is to adopt a proactive approach to security instead of reacting as events are discovered. A popular attack vector includes compromising IoT devices and traversing the OT network until a path is found that leads to enterprise devices. Most current smart devices and IoT sensors are not considered inherently secure, as they often lack robust built-in security features. This makes them vulnerable to attacks due to issues like weak encryption, outdated firmware, and poor password management. This can lead to sensitive data being exposed. There are enterprise networks that have not yet implemented protections such as network segmentation and robust access controls. Some IT security teams do not know how many IoT devices are connected to their network and the risk that these devices pose to their operations. Manufacturing plants still rely on technology and used decades ago. These operations were typically not built with cybersecurity in mind. Suppliers, such as business partners and contractors that connect to your network, may not consider security as important as your organization. This may lead to third parties connecting to your business network using a compromised device. In retrospect, the industry has realized that protecting data assets is becoming increasingly difficult. Malicious actors intend to target and obtain unauthorized access using various approaches. As mentioned earlier, the most popular approach is social engineering attacks. State-sponsored hackers operate with the highest degree of tradecraft and operational security. Today's hacker groups run their organizations as a business. Some malware groups have stolen so much money they act as capital lenders for up-and-coming malware groups. Their strategy is to create and sell malicious code on the dark web to less capable groups. They then ask for a percentage of the earnings and isolate themselves so the newer groups take on all the risk. Another popular attack is MFA fatigue. MFA fatigue occurs when malicious actors send constant MFA requests to an admin, usually late at night, in hopes that the admin grabs access to stop the prompts. You'd be surprised at how many admins fall for this social engineering attack. Alert fatigue poses another security challenge. This occurs when an analyst is overwhelmed by alerts, which can lead to them ignoring or missing alerts or delaying their response. Legacy SIEM solutions function as alert aggregators, consuming a flood of alerts and raise the risk of missed alerts. These products don't increase response capabilities. Investigations are complex and time-consuming. Legacy solutions require expensive hardware and extensive maintenance that cuts both into the capital and operational expense budgets. The best approach is to mitigate these challenges is to consolidate and integrate monitoring solutions. This enables admins to conduct threat hunting and streamline investigations while reducing capital expenditures. Security teams benefit from consolidating security products. This results in a reduction of alert noise and prioritize critical events. Gartner has identified Sentinel as a best-in-class industry leader. Sentinel is rated best in class due to its completeness of vision, rapid disruption of cyber threats, and robust XDR capabilities. Gartner highlights that Sentinel increases visibility across the entire digital estate. It hunts across any data with different tiers such as low-cost basic and archive logging. Sentinel excels at investigating historical data and providing robust tools to analyze data. Sentinel is integrated with Microsoft Defender Threat Intelligence, which is formerly known as RiskIQ. This correlates your logs against a robust threat intelligence engine that quickly detects threats. This also removes data silos, detects emerging threats by fusing together disparate signals. The TI engine is powered by Microsoft security researchers, data scientists, and threat intelligence analysts. Microsoft Security Copilot is integrated with Sentinel. This integrates AI with Sentinel, making complex admin functions easy. Sentinel has gained a significant portion of the SIEM market, keeping up with and exceeding the capacity of its closest competitor. A Forrester study shows that Sentinel's TCO is 44% less than that of continued use of legacy SIEM products. Moving to Sentinel has resulted in a 234% increase in their return on investment. With Sentinel's advanced hunting logic, security teams leverage a modern, robust toolset that helps reduce the organization's threat landscape. Being a cloud-native solution, Sentinel scales to meet organizational needs while providing long-term cost savings. Sentinel cost effectiveness is 48% less expensive than traditional on-premises SIEM solutions. The Microsoft Security Suite, combined with Sentinel, provides a unified investigation experience. This experience provides admins with a range of deeply specialized tooling, including security orchestration, automation, and response, which helps with repetitive admin tasks. Sentinel integrates with the Azure Security Stack. It leverages integrated machine learning and user and entity behavior analytics. that can help speed up investigations. With integrated threat intelligence, admin can investigate events while automated tasks conduct threat hunting. High-quality alerts help with end-to-end investigations and remediations. This allows for the removal of dozens of security products that don't raise response times. By prioritizing critical alerts, the Microsoft Security Suite slows the progress of malicious actors, allowing analysts time to react to events. Sentinel provides cloud-native services that provide a bird's-eye view across the enterprise and orchestrates automated responses to alert and repetitive tasks. Microsoft Defender for Cloud communicates bidirectionally with Sentinel, ingesting log data from solutions such as Defender for Endpoint, Defender for Identity to mitigate pass the hash or golden ticket attacks, Defender for Office to mitigate advanced phishing attacks, and third-party security tools. Sentinel with Security Copilot reduces administrative overhead by using AI to identify zero-day exploits, quickly gather new threat intelligence, and assists in creating advanced threat hunting logic. Copilot also enables security professionals to analyze incidents and complete investigations faster than they could without AI assistance. It uses its vast security data to provide contextual insight using easy to understand language. Microsoft Defender XDR and Sentinel are significantly enhanced when used with Security Copilot. Security Copilot enriches and builds on existing security data, signals, incidents, insights, providing a more powerful and comprehensive security experience. When using Sentinel, the first step is to collect data using one of many available data connectors, including custom connectors deployed via logic apps. Logs can be collected from any data source. Data visualization and monitoring are facilitated through workbooks, which are interactive dashboards featuring graphs, maps, and other visual aids. These workbooks are powered by KQL or custom queries, making them easy to build and customize. Sentinel offers over 200 built-in alerts and a wizard for creating custom analytics rules. It also provides out-of-the-box templates for creating threat detection rules. These templates are powered by Kusto query language. Notebooks can be leveraged for administrative tasks, combining live code with graphics and visual aids to better understand the data. Watch lists collect data from external sources for correlation, such as user lists for privileged access or terminated employees. These lists can create allow or deny lists to prevent unauthorized network access and suppress noisy alerts. Indicated or compromise, also known as IOCs, can be adjusted for accuracy as needed, while expired IOCs are removed automatically. Sentinel's built-in threat hunting logic allows for proactive identification of unusual activity. Azure Notebooks can be launched directly from Sentinel, with template notebooks available in a gallery developed by Microsoft security analysts, while other notebooks can be imported from GitHub. The incidents page provides a complete list of incidents in the environment, which can be prioritized and assigned to individual security analysts. Status is tracked live and can trigger automated playbooks while suppressing noisy incidents. Defender for Cloud and Sentinel are different but complementary. Defender for Cloud is for protection and governance of Azure. Sentinel monitors all environments regardless of the data source. Sentinel uses role-based access controls to comply with the separations of duties concept. Sentinel Reader can view and read data incidents, workbooks, and more. Sentinel Responder assigns, dismisses alerts and incidents. Sentinel Contributor creates and edits workbooks, analytic rules, and more, containing the more permissions out of this group of roles. Sentinel Playbook Operator can list, view, and manually run playbooks. It's recommended that these roles be assigned to the resource group that contains the Sentinel workspace. This allows the roles to apply to all the resources that support Sentinel, assuming those resources are located in the same resource group. Alternatively, these roles can be assigned to the Sentinel workspace, but this is not recommended. If staffing allows, these roles should be assigned to different security analysts and roles rotating as your cybersecurity policy dictates. Sentinel is an enrichment layer on top of a log analytics workspace. Azure Diagnostic logs are configured to send signals to the Log Analytics workspace. Log Analytics are a part of the Azure Monitor service. Azure Monitor primarily focuses on operational monitoring. It collects, analyzes, and acts on telemetry data from Azure and on-premises environments. It provides real-time operational insights, performance and availability monitoring, application insights, and integrated log analytics. This is ideal for diagnosing performance and operational issues, monitoring Azure resource health, and extending to hybrid environments. Azure Sentinel is a comprehensive SIEM and SOAR designed for advanced threat detection, threat intelligence, incident response, and proactive threat hunting. It includes data connectors, alert rules, workbooks, dashboards, and user and entity behavior analytics, also known as UEBA. This is best suited for identifying and responding to security threats, automated responses to detecting threats, and providing security analytics and threat visibility across the entire digital estate. First step is to implement data connectors from any source. There are countless native and custom data connectors that can be implemented using logic apps. Azure virtual machines can use extensions to deploy the agents. These extensions also work on non-Azure hosted VMs via Azure Arc, such as AWS EC2 and on-premises servers. Sentinel can also collect data from any Sentinel PaaS service that logs events in Azure Monitor. All communications are protected using TLS encryption and secure socket layer. Partner connectors are also available through the Sentinel portal. These connectors use the REST API to send data to Sentinel and the Log Analytics workspace. Some of these connectors have prerequisites that must be met before being used. For instance, the AWS connector requires roles with specific permissions for the connector to work correctly. Scripts are provided to ensure that prerequisites are met. Depending on the connector, support can come from Microsoft, their partners, or the open source community. It's important to know who supports the connector so data governance requirements can be met. These connectors allow Sentinel to ingest logs from firewalls, third-party MFA providers, load balancers, and other third-party security solutions. These feeds can be accessed by using the taxi protocol. On-premises infrastructure connects via agent-based integration. Log forwarders can be configured to ingest logs and send them to the Sentinel workspace. Logstash can be used to connect data sources to Sentinel. Syslog is supported as well as CEF logs. If a connector is not listed for a source, it may be because other existing connectors already send that data. IoT devices can be protected by using Defender for IoT to discover and protect devices regardless of the physical or network location. Air-gapped devices are able to send their security events to Sentinel via Defender for IoT. This connector provides out-of-the-box alert metrics, data, trends, and event security. Sentinel identifies anomalies and unusual behavior and brings security to devices that typically don't include security guardrails. The final data source is applications. Applications can stream events into a Sentinel API using your preferred language. The, exa- the example depicted in this drawing includes Python, PowerShell, Java, and TypeScript. Azure functions can be connected by using Azure Logic Apps. There is a seemingly endless source of options. The challenge will be to decide which connector best fits your situation. Azure Monitor primarily focuses on operational monitoring. It connects, analyzes and acts on telemetry data from Azure and on-premises environments. It provides real-time operational insights, performance and availability monitoring, application insights, and integrated log analytics. This is ideal for diagnosing performance and operational issues, monitoring Azure resource health, and extending to hybrid environments. Azure Sentinel is a comprehensive SIEM SOAR designed for advanced threat detection, threat intelligence, incident response, and proactive threat hunting. It includes data connectors, alert rules, workbooks, dashboards, and UEBA. This is best suited for identifying and responding to security threats, automated responses to detected threats, and providing security analytics and threat visibility across the entire digital estates. Some of the differences are data sources. Azure Monitor focuses on operational data like application logs and performance metrics, while Azure Sentinel works with a broader range of data, including security events and threat intelligence. Incident responses. Azure Monitor helps solve performance issues, whereas Azure Sentinel automates and orchestrates responses to security incidents. Azure Monitor provides operational insights, while Azure Sentinel offers comprehensive security analytics and threat management. Both services can complement each other depending on your needs. Azure Monitor is great for maintaining the health and performance of your applications and infrastructure, while Azure Sentinel is essential for robust security monitoring and threat management. The Azure Monitor agent provides an easier onboarding experience. Once a device is onboarded, the AMA collects data from Azure and other services and delivers it to Sentinel for analysis. Recently, the AMA consolidated 3 legacy agents to make the onboarding experience easier. Data collection rules can be created to specify what telemetry should be collected, how to transform it, and where to send it. Data is automatically sent to a destination without any user configuration. AMA provides granular controls over event filtering and multi-homing, functions that are not available on the legacy agent. The AMA can coexist with older agents. The challenge with this scenario is the possibility of data duplication due to multiple agents reporting the same events. The AMA receives and sends Windows security events and forward events to Sentinel. This results in lower operating costs. One option is to store noisy alerts in a different workspace, granting a higher level of control. This also allows admins to focus on new critical alerts and not be distracted by alerts deemed benign. The Sentinel Workspace Manager allows the management of multiple workspaces in a centralized environment. This manager allows analysts to keep tabs on those noisy alerts while they carry on with their normal tasks. The Sentinel contributor RBAC role is needed to access the Workspace Manager. Now we'll go into the demo. To access Microsoft Sentinel, log into the Azure portal as an admin and then search for Sentinel in the top search bar. Once you get to the Sentinel landing page, you'll note that you're greeted with an overview panel. In this overview section, you'll have graphs and uh, visual aids which will depict how many incidents you've had, the automation used to deal with these incidents, and data that has been received over a certain time. This particular instance is set to monitor over the last 24 hours. You can also see the current status of the analytics rules in use. The log section provides log samples for all sorts of various queries. These sample packs are written in KQL and can be run at your leisure. So for example, if you want to see the response time trend, you can load it to the editor, and from there you can view the KQL that corresponds to that particular query. From there, you can continue building upon the template or the snippet and further refine it to your needs. Once you're done with the query, it will either be saved or you can close it and move on to the next. The news and guide section are posts from uh, Microsoft themselves, its content contributors, and sometimes the open source community. So in this particular section, as of today, you'll note that they depict what's new since July of 2023 and goes all the way back to as far back as you need to go in case you want to come up to speed with what some of the new changes are. It gives you an easy way to get started by telling you where to go and what items are on your punch list and in what successive order uh, in order to properly uh, maintain and manage this instance. A free trial is also offered in case you want to set this up and try it before you buy the full version. There are plenty of resources which can also be used to familiarize yourself with Microsoft Sentinel. There is a training lab, Microsoft Learn online courses, which are free. The open source community typically collates all of their data in GitHub, the documentation. You can then read resources to tell you or give you an idea of what this will cost. And then, of course, the ability to get support if so needed. There's also a search function in case you're looking for anything specific within the Sentinel workspace. You can also save whatever searches you have or restore whatever it is that uh, you feel needs to be restored. If you're conducting an investigation, there can be archive tables that can be restored so that you can pick up where you left off. The threat management incidents area tells you how many incidents are open, how many new incidents you have received since last checked, and the active incidents. Now, incidents can be assigned to individual analysts if you have a larger group of working in your security operations center. So incidents are basically containers that house the threats found in the organizations. There are alerts, entities, and any other type of related evidence. From here, you can view all the related alerts, triage, manage the incident, and respond as necessary. From there, you can trigger playbooks to the groups that are configured within the logic in order to resolve the threat or find more information that will give you better details on resolving the incident. In the workbook section, you'll note that there are templates and various uh, workbooks that can be found either in the Content Hub or uh, a custom workbook created for your specific environment. In this particular scenario, we noted that the Microsoft Entra ID sign-in logs have been imported into Sentinel and to be used as workbooks. So what this does is it takes all the logs in the diagnostic logging section of Entra ID and acts upon them. So for instance, if we want to see how that goes, we just search for Entra ID. When you get to Entra, you go down to the monitoring section and then the diagnostic settings. And then from here, you would configure whatever diagnostic log you like, and then it will push it to Sentinel. So in this particular setting, the logs that are of interest in this environment have been checked off, and those that are not necessary have not been checked. But essentially, You would select the logs that you're interested to send to Log Analytics Workspace that works with Sentinel. You tie it to a subscription. You identify the Log Analytics Workspace that you're going to use, and then you just click the Save button. You also, separately, you can archive these logs to a storage account or Event Hub or a third-party solution in case there's more than one monitoring solution. So once you save this, this will send it to the Sentinel environment for processing. So again, the workbooks are here. And once those logs are ingested by Sentinel, these workbooks can be run to gain any insights that are provided by connecting Entra ID logs with Sentinel. This covers everything from sign-in operations, locations, email addresses, IP addresses, and any other item that necessary for a investigation. In the hunting tab, this is where you go and you want to proactively search for threats. So you can configure a hunt for any kind of action. Now this is uh, based on KQL. So from here, you would just select the type of entity that you're hunting for, and then obviously give it a name, what it does, and then write out your KQL query. This is something that Copilot can help you with if you are not familiar with KQL. Keep in mind that Copilot is still being developed, so anything that it responds with may contain errors. So hunting uses Dimitri tactics and techniques, and then provides results in an easy to understand explanation uh, to give you more information on how to progress with your investigation. In the notebook section, you can use notebooks for threat hunting and to better look into investigations. They contain live code, uh, visualizations, and narrative text. In addition, Sentinel supports Jupyter notebooks, which can be found in GitHub. Notebooks are typically used for big data analytics and for processing large amounts of data and large data sets. And again, it's used for threat hunting, investigations, and machine learning models. Here you can view what your entity behavior settings are. So you'll get to know what devices are in question or have alerts on them. Just an easier way if you're looking for a specific device to troubleshoot instead of just the general environment. You can use this particular section to search for a specific host or Azure resource or third-party resource and begin your remediation actions. Now, this is the brain of Sentinel, the threat intelligence section. Once again, this was formerly known as Risk IQ, but in here, you've got IOCs that are developed by Microsoft, as well as the open source community. And as you can see, it's quite robust. There are, as of this recording, 1.5 million threat intelligence indicators. Various sources can also be tied into this in case you want to add a custom threat intelligence service that can add to your already robust set of IOCs. From here, you can create workbooks and move forward with whatever you're looking for specifically. There is a section for military attack vectors, tactics, and kill chains. We'll give this a moment to load. But essentially, this loads all of the military attack uh, threat intelligence logic and uses it, applies it to any investigation you may have. So if you note here, it gives you a visual diagram of all the different tactics seen in this test environment. So from there, you can click on any of these and begin looking into why there's an alert for that particular tactic or technique. If you're running a security operations center, there are a lot of built-in pre-canned tables here which can help you uh, better refine how you work, and it provides items that you can look into to optimize your environment. If the threat intelligence was the brain of Sentinel, the Content Hub is the heart. Here is where you'll find all of the data that needs to be, all the connectors to onboard that data. So if you know, there are a lot of different connectors from AWS, from the Microsoft. It also ties into the Google Cloud platform. So there are many of these connectors, as mentioned earlier. So the way this works is you first have to onboard these uh, connectors. So even though they're offered, they're not automatically installed on the Sentinel workspace. So once you onboard them, then from there, you can configure them to your liking. So for instance, this one here, the Defender for Cloud, and see, we can either update it or we can manage it. And then from here, you can, if you are provided with options to configure the connector. So this particular one has already been configured. And then from here, it will tell you what the status of the connector is. So if you note, there are a visual depiction of the security alerts, a description of what it does, and then how many queries and analytic rules are included. So from here, these are the options for the actual connector itself. You have to identify the subscription that you are protecting with this particular connector. Because this is Defender for Cloud, it needs to tie into the subscription that Defender for Cloud is monitoring, and then those logs are then forwarded to Sentinel for further processing. And as you know, it's a bidirectional sync, which can be disabled in case you want it to be a one-way communication. So if you don't want Sentinel to feed data to Defender for Cloud, then you would disable bidirectional sync. And then it goes into the Defender. So if you note, you can actually do quite a bit with these connectors. Depending on what connector you're using, you'll get different options for them. So if we want to go to which ones have been onboarded, okay, so Entra ID protection, we just saw that their diagnostic logs were configured and sending to Sentinel. So then you would go into the actual uh, options for the connector itself, and then you'll see that there are various things in use. So some of these connectors still use the legacy name, which would be Azure Active Directory. So keep in mind though that all that stuff is being renamed, and it'll all get sorted out at some point. Okay, so we open this connector page, and you'll note that you're presented with different types of uh, options here. Now, this lab doesn't have the correct licensing, so it's not going to get the required data. But if you know, there's a configuration page, and then from here is where you give details on what you want to do with the data being ingested. And then from there, create any types of incidents automatically. So this is where the SOAR functions are. Content Hub offers a lot of really awesome items, which will absolutely help your SUC be more successful. Repositories tie Sentinel with either ADO, so Azure DevOps, or GitHub. It's currently in preview, so that may change, but as of this recording, you can connect Sentinel to either of these repos, and you would click authorize and then finish configuring with whatever data is given to you by your repository. So if you note, the analytic rules are being stored in this particular repo in case you want to have I would use this to back up my rules in case to make sure for any kind of disaster I have a backup. There's a community tab where you get tied in with all the different cybersecurity insights and updates from the researchers at Microsoft. There are different blogs and forums, as well as different uh, communities. So that you would typically see a lot of contributors to hit GitHub listed here. And they're incentivized to continue giving us high quality items by having this leaderboard. There's also links to security communities and any other items that may interest you. As mentioned previously, the Workspace Manager allows you to manage more than one Sentinel instance. You just need to have the right permissions. In this particular test case, it's not enabled, but if you choose to have more than one instance, you would see everything in a consolidated workspace. There's a section for the different data connectors. And again, it's noted that this particular test environment has 21 connectors onboarded, and none of them need updates. So over time, Microsoft further improves the connector. But if you note, there are connectors for CEF with legacy agents or with the newer agent. You can import items from web application firewalls, but you can also import items from third parties, third-party firewalls like Cisco and some of the other major players, Palo Alto. And then, as mentioned earlier, you can tie in using the taxi protocol in case you want to further look at threat intelligence. So it isn't just the connectors for monitoring. It's these are content sources that allow you to tie into different services to ingest data or manage your investigation within Azure. There is an analytics tab which tells you which rules are currently being in use, severity. So this is very similar to Defender for Cloud's cloud security posture management. Um, but essentially it's about the same way, the same look and approach, but essentially this will tell you up here what alerts and by what severity they're listed and how they're being used. And then you can launch workbooks to further look at anything that may interest you. Some rules currently are under preview, but these are used for scheduling queries. So if you want something running in the background automatically, or if you want to extract certain data, then you can use this to help make things easier for you. Uh, there are also watch list opportunities, or I should say the ability to configure watch lists. And then from here, again, it's just going into the logs, and then you would write in your KQL query, and that will just glean the logs for whatever you're looking for. The automation section is where the SOAR functions are conducted. So it's the automated responses. And to give you an example, this particular environment is trying to suppress honeypot alerts. So from there, as you see, the conditions are if-then statements. So if this condition is met, then the action is this. And then of course you can order it and disable it in case you don't want this on at all times. The settings section speaks to what the pricing is for Sentinel. So again, this meets from the smallest business to the largest enterprise. So depending on how much data Sentinel ingests per day, the price can get quite extensive. So if we go over to the pricing tier, you can use the pay as you go if that is as you choose. But if you want a 100 gigabyte per day plan, it gives you the per day cost or uh, per gigabyte, depending on how you configure it. Uh, but then, as you can see, it can get quite pricey depending on how much data you're ingesting. However, this is very uncommon, and 50,000 gigabytes per day is something that a very large enterprise consisting of 50,000 plus users a day. So most uh, small to medium companies use these tiers from 500 so from 100 gigs to 500 gigs per day would typically be what we would see from a small to medium business. And then for an enterprise, it all depends on what you want monitored. So it's a sliding scale. However, the more data you ingest, the cheaper it gets. So that's not to discourage you, it's just to be realistic with what Microsoft pricing offers. So that concludes our demo. Once again, my name is Pete Hernandez. I am a Principal Azure Security professional here at Atmosera. Thank you for your time. And if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to Atmosera. We can help you with any of your Sentinel needs.